reading. The new meta that everybody is saying suddenly cures your attention span and your addiction to social media and to scrolling. And over the past 2 years, approximately, has been quite a big, important part of my life, and I read quite the amount of books, I would say, and it is one of the favorite hobbies I have right now. You see, it wasn't like this all along. I started reading seriously when I was approximately 14 years old, around summer 2024. That's where I, for the first time, after like 2 to 3 years, picked up a book. And the book that I read was 1984 by George Orwell. That if you would ask me when I was 12, 13, 14 years old, on why wouldn't I read a book, I would say, well, there are other kinds of media that I can consume and they are more fun to consume, they're more enjoyable, they're easier to consume. At this point in my life, I was playing a lot of video games. I was playing Assassin's Creed a lot and I was loving that. I also was doing a lot of sim racing because I wanted to become a professional esports driver, and I didn't quite know what quick dopamine and dopamine overloading actually was, and that consuming too much would actually cause some problems later on with my attention span. However, in 2024, these things were starting to kind of become the new meta, and I got exposed to these new kinds of stuff when I was actually starting to realize that probably the way I'm living my life is not what I probably should be doing, and that I can do much more if I just, lock in when I actually start going to the gym and lifting weights and starting to build this lifestyle that I'm living now. That was actually when I picked up this book for the first time by my father and read the whole thing in approximately 4 days. And that experience, I would quite frankly say, changed my life forever. You see, in this modern day and age, it is more easy than ever to get loads and loads of information. Like, people are spending hours on social media, scrolling, and getting exposed to very bad and very good, very happy, very sad, very angry, very stupid, very silly, very funny things basically every single second. And average view duration on those 1 minute videos is like 5 seconds. And what this basically does to your brain is that these emotions like make you hooked to that thing for a very long time, and they're experiencing a lot of emotions in a very short period of time that are basically triggered completely autonomously. And that's how I was living. I had my Instagram, I was scrolling a lot, and I didn't really. I thought that was good. That was the meta. That was what everybody was doing. And when I started reading for the first time, and I was actually focusing my attention on the story, and I made the emotional connection to the characters, I felt something that I haven't felt in a very long time, actually. Because when you read a book, especially when you read fiction, the emotional parts of your brain get triggered like if the stuff that you're reading about was happening in real life. Like, the brain does not distinguish between the real experience and the story. That's why when you're watching horror movies, we're actually scared because we feel like we're getting threatened. That's why when we're watching something very funny, we also start to laugh and we get into a good mood because the brain doesn't distinguish that. In books, it happens the same thing basically as while watching movies, but even stronger. And that is because when you read, all the imagery and all the characters are built up from your own brain within itself. And you build yourself the image of the world, of the characters, of the plotline, and everything that is happening within that book. And this boosts your fantasy, basically, boosts your creativity, boosts your attention, because when you have an emotional connection to something, you're more prone to stick to it and more prone to enjoy it. And that's exactly what happened. I constructed this plot line and I got hooked completely. And before you tell me that, like, when somebody tells you, go read this book, like, okay, it's maybe overrated, like, let's look at the reviews, don't do it. Just pick up the damn book and just go and read, and you will see yourself that wow, like, this actually is really interesting. I personally am currently reading a book from Kindle. So it is a digital book. I personally very much prefer paper books, and they probably do as well, and that's perfectly fine. Both are good. Or the reason I really like Kindle is because I can download books from this site called Project Gutenberg, which offers millions and millions of books for free from history. And because I right now got myself into some classical literature, I'm reading The Idiot by Fyodor Dostoevsky. And one thing I would like to know down If you are a lot on the internet and social media, you might see this thing called the book talk, where people are talking about books and literature, and as the internet has it, everything that gets too popular is basically completely destroyed, and books and literature seems to be one of these things as well. And the chances are you probably have been on this book talk, and when I told you that I'm reading, the idiot probably were like, oh yeah, that's a fucking performative male, you know. And I must be 100% clear with you, yes, I did start reading Dostoevsky because of social media, and because I saw it there, and because I googled on YouTube books that are good and that people recommend, and Dostoevsky's books were one of them. And right now I'm finishing this book, and I must say, I really enjoy this book so fucking much. It's one of the best reads of my life, honestly. I didn't come any prior knowledge to this. When I was younger, I would never tell myself I would ever read classical literature. And this is just the thing of what reading can do to you. Because you're going to train yourself, like with physical training, to be able to tackle some more difficult reads like this one. And the experiences and the emotions you're going to feel will be absolutely incredible. So please do not get disturbed by social media and people having their opinions on the internet. The day and age where it is the easiest thing in the world to sit behind a computer and type stupid stuff on the internet. Get some book and start bloody reading. Doesn't matter if it is Dostoevsky, it doesn't have to be anything. But if you wish to read Dostoevsky and have no idea what postmodernism means, that's okay, I don't know it either. Just get the book and have a good time and enjoy yourself, and do not let anybody destroy your choice and your hobbies. See you later.